Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, big news dropped over the last 48 hours in regards to Jaron Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz. Apparently, the fight fell apart because of the weight class that they wanted the fight to be at. Apparently, the fight was supposed to be at 147, according to Jaron Ennis, because that's what weight class the fight was offered to them at. I find that hard to believe, considering the fact that Vergil Ortiz had been going through a medical situation that they believe, was partly attributed to the fact that he was at 147 pounds. So why would they then offer a fight to him at 154, specifically when they're interim champion at 154? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And quite frankly, I believe that Jaron Ennis is currently looking bad out here in these streets. I mean, it is what it is. And I personally believe that it's more so tied to a disconnect between he and Eddie Hearn versus Jaron Ennis being, quote unquote, a duck. I don't believe Jaron Ennis is afraid of any opponent. That's not something that I believe. But we talked about this, Jay, and we warned the people back when he signed with Eddie Hearn that this was something that could potentially happen. We talked about it with the situation that occurred with Brian Norman Jr., but everybody was saying, oh, Brian Norman Jr., he only made so-and-so amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, something doesn't sound quite right there. There seems to be a disconnect between what Eddie Hearn is saying and what Jaron Boots Ennis is saying. And now we have this situation where, and Jay, you can read off the quote because Jaron Ennis went to his Twitter and said something about if it doesn't come from him, don't believe it. But it seems like now there's another disconnect between these two gentlemen. Listen, Eddie Hearn's move in a specific way. I've seen this over the last several years. We understand this. He's a smooth talker, a slick talker. But I never thought he was going to be beneficial for Jaron Ennis's career. And already he is proving to be more damaging than actually beneficial to his career, Jay. So what was that quote that Boots Ennis, I think he said this yesterday, right? Where he talked a little bit about, go ahead and read it for the people.
Yeah, he said this on his IG. So he said, I seen the rumors on social media just like y'all did. As far as the fight with me and Vergil, I was unaware that alleged negotiation was being made on my end from here, on my end. From here on out, if it didn't come from me and me only, don't believe it. And I will address if I'm staying at 47 or moving up to 54 at a later date and time. So it's hard to believe that he had no insight in this, but Fast Eddie is doing Fast Eddie things. You know what I'm saying? This is like Demetrius Andrade 2.0 or 3.0, because we just had what he did to Devin as well. He's supposed to get Devin the best fight. Devin was supposed to be fighting Sandor Martin. He didn't even bid on it because it wasn't going to make no money. So here we go again. I mean, a lot of people have been alleging with Fast Eddie possibly posturing Boots to push Boots at 154. So you can slide Conor Benn at 47. So Conor Benn can get the titles at 47, and Boots can hopefully get titles at 54. So he have people at 54 and say 47. You know, that's the thought. That's what people have been saying out there in the streets as well. I don't know if it's I'm definitely not gonna call Boots a duck because I don't think it's on him. To your point, I think there's a disconnect between him and his team and Eddie. But as you said, we told people look out for Eddie. Tank told people about Eddie that Eddie's a snake already and stuff like that. So I mean, Eddie's gonna do what's in the best interest of himself. It's not making sense, but I've also heard rumors that Turkey was the one that offered at 147. If it was from Turkey offering at 147, which could be possible, because remember, he tried to get Benavidez to drop down to 160 at one point. So we know Turkey can do some wild stuff at times. But either way, there's no way in the world Boots had no idea what was going on. Let
me address that. Let me address that, because I saw Dan Raphael mention something to that effect, saying that he finds it very hard to believe that with rumors being out there that it was all on social media, that we saw comments from two different promoters, both of the promoters that would be involved in the fight, that he had no idea that things were being negotiated. I think Boots has to be very careful when he goes to his IG or when he goes to any social media platform, and maybe he should consult someone in regards to what it is he's posting. What I believe he meant by that was simply he was unaware of some of the details, some of the finer details that had been negotiated that he was not privy to and was not in agreement with. Now, 54, I don't believe in that post that he said 54, that he was unaware of that, or the potential for it to be 54 versus 147. I think what he meant was finding some of those finer details that maybe he didn't agree with, that he was unaware. And then once he had heard of those details, then, that became an issue. But if he says something like, you are totally unaware, that's where you got to make sure that you are wording things correctly, because it can be perceived specifically from that statement that he's saying that he was totally unaware, and that's impossible. I mean, even he mentioned that there was a possibility that he could move up to 154 pounds after the fight, his last fight. So, dude, you got to be very careful with how you go to social media, and you should probably consult someone before you make those types of statements, because those statements can be more damaging than they can be good for you.
Yeah. Also on that, 4 days before all this pop, he posted on social media, "See y'all soon," with a clip of him sparring, him training. So it put all the thing like he knew something was going on, like he was gonna have a fight announced. Then I said this changed, and now he's kind of like do damage control. But to your point, he really should be slick, be a little bit slicker, have someone else handle it, because it's gonna be things he can say can be misconstrued one way or another. I don't think Boots is a duck in this case here, not at all. I just think it's a lot of mixed messages out there as well going on. But also, once we heard about Vergil and Boots fight, everyone automatically assumed it's 154. We all did, because that made the most logical. It was more logical that way, because like you said, Vergil couldn't make 147. That was the main reason he moved up to 154. And this would have been a hell of a fight that we all wanted to see on here. But I'm hoping Boots can get in front of a camera and really talk this out and give more detail and try to clear it up, to try to save grace on him, because it's not looking good for him. But I'm not gonna say Boots is a duck.
Yeah, I don't think he's a duck, but I think he has to be a lot more careful in regards to how he moves, and how he words things, because again, it looks bad, man. Like, anybody that comes into the comment section and says that, no, he's ducking, it's I don't have definitive proof to say that he's not. I don't believe that's the case, but I just don't have definitive proof. I just don't believe Boots is afraid of Vergil Ortiz, and he's been calling for a lot of the bigger fights. But I knew this was going to end up being a mess. It has continued to be a mess for him. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
Yeah, but not only that, if the whole ordeal is about him potentially losing his belt at 147. Then that makes sense that he wouldn't want to go to 154. He can't keep his belt for a voluntary fight, for one. To your point, he already did his mandate, so I'm not sure what's going on with the IBF and all that stuff, but IBF does some weird stuff as well. But we'll have to dive deeper into that to see if that could have been part of the reason why he all of a sudden this is changing from 54 to 47 to now no fight at all.
I don't know. I don't know what all the finer details are. All I know is that this is a mess. Eddie Hearn seems to be in a number of messes associated with Jaron Ennis so far since he's been signed. He's also been involved with the Shakur Stevenson versus Gervonta Davis situation, where he specifically said that he was told not to contact. I don't know why people try to use anything that comes out of Eddie Hearn's mouth as law and or facts in regards to fight negotiations. Doesn't make sense. And I'm specifically talking about fight negotiations, because people will go back and try to clip this when I say that. It's amazing how so many people find it so challenging to actually follow the nuances of what people are saying. But anyway, we'll see what ends up happening with this situation. You guys tell us what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.